now on to Tyler Perry, the king of black movies, right? Isn't Tyler Perry the man out there? He's the
Yeah,
man.
he's the emperor as far as I'm concerned.
So I have now full in the interest of full disclosure, I have not seen this movie. I haven't watched it. It's a so Tyler Perry put out a new movie on Netflix. It's called Straw, right? That's the name of it.
Mhm.
It stars Taraji P. Henson. And there's some commentary about the movie. Apparently, it's a bit intense, or it gets a bit intense. I'm not sure. But Taraji P. Henson was on the Breakfast Club, and they were asking her about people who criticized Tyler Perry for always leaning into the traumatized black woman narrative in his work.
Her point was she just
And Taraji P. Henson is defending Tyler Perry against that, saying that what he is doing is actually, um, showing what's actually happening to a lot of women in the community. And so she'll always be on his side for that, and she'll never be against it. She thinks that it's something that needs to continue to happen to shed a spotlight on, this aspect of what we got going on out here. So again, I haven't seen the movie, but apparently a lot of people are talking about it. I was actually on my I was on my I think my Instagram feed or my Facebook feed a couple days ago, and I was kind of scrolling through, kind of looking for content, and a lot of people were talking about this movie, so it is being discussed a lot. So here's Taraji responding when asked about people who criticize Tyler Perry for always leaning into the black woman in distress, or the black woman dealing with trauma, or the black woman who's always dealing with trials and tribulations in his movies.
couldn't take it anymore, and things just got out of control. And she, God bless her heart, she was just trying to do the best she could with what she had. And I, in particular, I am drawn to characters who are voiceless and need a voice, because I am such a big personality. I like to breathe light into those characters, because I feel like those characters are real.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry didn't just pull this out of the sky. These women exist, these people exist, and they need to see themselves, and they need to know that they're not alone, and that people do see them.
Does it make you mad when people tell Tyler Perry to stop showing those women on camera?
I think that's their own traumas triggered, because in the community, black community,
Of course, right?
You know what I mean? So if you're forced to look at it often, you will be triggered. So the first thing you're going to want to say is, I don't want to see it. But there are people out there that need to see it. He's forcing real conversations in the community. That's why I'll never stop working with him.
All right, so there you go. So
Wow,
she's dug her line in the sand. She will never stop working with him.
yeah, get those checks, girl.
Yeah. So now again, now this the synopsis. I looked up the synopsis for this movie. Let's see. It says the official synopsis for Straw sets the tone, stating a single mother's world unravels in chaos as her day goes from bad to worse to catastrophic as she struggles to care for her ill daughter. Now, I'm going to be honest. I am probably not going to watch this.
That's
So,
right.
um, I will try to be as reasonable with respect to this topic as possible, given the fact that I have absolutely no intention whatsoever to watch this movie. But in the interest of full disclosure, I did want to put that out there. So, not my cup of tea. Probably not going to see it. But yeah, floor is yours. What say you about what Taraji had to say about Tyler Perry making movies like this, showing black women in that kind of light?
Well, you're not gonna watch it because it's triggering some type of trauma to you.
Yes,
That's why and that's why you don't want to watch it. That's not fair. So I think you need to overcome your biases and give it a watch. Me personally, honestly, bruh, I don't expect nothing different from Taraji. I mean, this guy just cut her a check. He's been cutting the checks, and from the sounds of it, he will continue to cut her check. So what would she look like, biting the hand that feeds her on Breakfast Club? However, I would say that her point to why she does it is what I have a problem with. it was no point at all that she made there by just flipping it and trying to gaslight me and say that it's triggering some type of trauma in me. That's not what it's doing. That's exactly what it's not doing. For me, I feel as though Tyler Perry found an infinite money glitch in the black community, targeting black women and their emotions. Actually, using, because there is trauma in our community. Our women go through stuff. Our men do too. But our women, our women, uh, are emotional creatures, much like any other woman. Okay, but they're emotional creatures, and he is preying on the emotions of our women in the community. And he uses these topics about these women going through the things that they go through to basically create a black lifetime. You know, it's his like a lifetime movie, but for the black community. That's the infinite glitch, because Lifetime has been running for the white community for the longest because they prey on women's emotions, white women's emotions and black women, but predominantly that's a mainstream plan on emotions. Tyler Perry has said that, hey, let me take the Lifetime formula and put it in over here, and then let me get that glitch. And he found the glitch, and he's been exploiting it. If he does this one jab step pull up, pump fake, and it always get the defender to move, why not keep doing it? It's money in the bank. And so he found an infinite glitch, and he's exploiting it. He found an actress that loves to carry that pain, and Taraji. She loves to be the woman in distress. So, if you found a player that knows how to run your infinite glitch system, why not keep employing them? So, to me, I don't think this is a situation of Tyler Perry highlighting various scenarios in our community to shine light on it to make our community better. I think that this is him shining light on the fact that we do have trauma in our community, but he's using it to exploit. The last thing I'll say is that the reason why it's exploitation and not progression or elevation is, and yes, I'm pretty sure that these things all have positive endings and, whoop de whoop de whoop. But my problem with these types of movies is that they aren't showing us the other side of the coin. Like, it's not a balanced situation. And so then he's not, I'm pretty sure somebody's going to cut in the comment section, are you kidding me? He has a TV show or a movie where these people are black and successful and they got high rises and they own businesses. And y'all don't want to watch that, or y'all want to listen. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. You know what I'm talking about. And it's not balanced. And if you want to put those 3 or 4 handful of things compared to the rest of the stack of his stuff that's talking about all of this trauma, it's not balanced. And my problem is that it's not balanced. So yes, he has his own studio. Yes, he's employing black people. Yes, he's doing all these other things that anybody else can sit there and say, well, what are you doing? You're just sitting there critiquing him. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not using all of that power to put out an energy set that basically says that this is all our people are. And so that's what I feel like overall his movies tend to do. It keeps us in a certain vibration, and it doesn't elevate us, I don't believe. And so watching Taraji P. Henson go through trauma and, to go through this stuff to get her baby well, you can try to say that this signifies black woman strength and single mama and stuff like that. But why are we always being portrayed like this? To me, this is no different than a slavery movie. But what are your thoughts, man, on Taraji P. Henson saying that, hey, man, you guys being too hard on Tyler Perry. He's actually a good man who's actually trying to shine light on these women's stories, and he's not trying to exploit. What are your thoughts, man?
I mostly agree with you. It's that's the point that I was gonna make, is it's the lack of balance.
Mm-hmm.
Like my problem with the hip hop industry isn't that songs about selling drugs and doing violence to people in your community, and all of that, and otherwise irresponsible degenerative behavior. Like, my issue isn't that such music is made. My issue is that the machine of the music industry is making an effort to popularize that variety of the sound to the mainstream above every other sound. There's other aspects of hip hop that are being created, but it isn't bore to the forefront the way that some of the more ignorant, tone deaf, violence stricken street stuff is brought to the forefront. So
Mhm.
the only thing that I request is for a more balanced representation of the music. If I am to believe that hip hop is synonymous with African American culture, but hip hop is being mainstream singularly in terms of its tone, then I am left to believe that I must accept that that singular tone is synonymous with the entire culture. And since I don't accept that, I reject the idea that that is our culture. I've
Mhm.
said this a million times. Um, if there was a more balanced representation of the mainstreaming and popularization of the music, I take less of an issue with the notion that that ubiquitously amounts to our culture. But that's not what we have going on. I don't care what playlist you look up, you can go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. The top songs in any hip hop playlist or stream are going to be from the same artists who largely talk about the same subject matter. And some of the rappers who do not talk about a lot of stuff, who don't talk about street stuff all the time, who don't glamorize violence or selling drugs to the community, are downplayed, and they get relegated to being underground or indie artists, or artists to which you have to be a hardcore fan to follow their work because they're not given the same mainstream platform that other rappers are given. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part, that's the state of affairs. So you just need a balanced representation of the music in order to more accurately display the rich tapestry that the music represents.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's the criticism that I have, at least, of Tyler Perry. Sure, he's done his comedies here or there. I guess that's supposed to be his balanced representation, is his comedy work. But it isn't nearly enough to offset, in my opinion, his variety of traumatainment.
Mhm.
And his variety of traumatainment is his specialty. It's his specialty. It is what it is. You can defend it all you want, but it is his specialty. It's kind of what he indulges in more than anything when it comes to his own movies. And the ironic thing about it is, as an actor, he's been a part of a lot of non-black traumatainment content. He played the Alex Cross character, but that wasn't directed by him. He was in the movie Don't Look Up with Leonardo DiCaprio, but that wasn't directed by him. He was in Gone Girl with Ben Affleck, but that wasn't directed by him. So he's been in other things. He was in a Star Trek movie. He was in, like, when they they brought back Star Trek for like a modern audience with the new movies with Chris Pine, I think. He was in the first one, I think. The first one, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was the first one. But
Mhm.
that wasn't a Tyler Perry directed movie. So he's been in other stuff. But when it comes to the stuff that he writes and directs and produces, it's traumatainment. And so I think you and I are speaking the same language. Like, there just needs to be a more balanced representation of his own body of work. Then I think there'd be less people like me saying, bro, why are you always doing this? And another point that you brought up that I agree with is, I think it would be good to see a more natural progression. Like, okay, fine, if you want to do the traumatainment. But yeah, make a movie with a bunch of black people. What's the name of that movie? The Harder They Fall. That
Mhm.
to me was pretty cool because it was a majority all black cast for the most part, and it was a western. So you had a bunch of people in the old west shooting up and having gunfights and doing western stuff.
Mhm.
Except it didn't have Clint Eastwood or none of these white people in it. It was a movie with a bunch of black people. I was like, yeah, give me more of that. I'll take that all day. It was
Mhm.
a genre movie. It was a western. It had a bunch of black people in it. I'll take that. or if you want to do a more modern take on stuff and it's about a black person who runs a business. And I know, Tyler Perry's directed a movie where a black guy is running a corporation, but it was a traumatainment movie. He did some movie with what's the name of that British chick? Newton, Tandy Newton, I think. And basically he runs a company, and Tandy Newton plays a woman who works in sanitation, or she's a service worker in his building or something, and they connect and he ends up uplifting her. But the movie was just rife with sadness and trauma. It was a traumatainment movie, even though it depicted a black person who was in a position of success. So even when he does do some stuff that's quasi showing black people in a forward thinking light, there's still an undercurrent of traumatainment behind it.
Correct.
So I agree with you, bro. Like, and I hear there's gonna be a lot of Tyler Perry fans who, if this video gets served up on the algorithm, there'll be a lot of people in our comments telling us how off we are and how wrong we are. The majority of those people, by the way, will not watch this entire video. They'll just probably watch the first couple of minutes, see that we were going con on this argument, and immediately go to the comments to tell us how crazy we are. But that's the way the world is. People have such short attention spans. Nobody watches entire videos anymore. But I know there's going to be a lot of people who tell us how wrong we are in the comments on this video. But in my opinion, he does not represent a balanced representation of black art, in my opinion. He specializes in traumatainment. And I would have nothing to say if he was a little more balanced. If he brought some of what he does as an actor over to what he does as both an actor and a director and a producer and a writer, I probably wouldn't have much to say. But everything with this dude is like trials and tribulations. Man, you killing my vibe. I'm not trying to be on that all the time. Like I remember I'm not gonna mention his name, but one of my friends from Tallahassee, we used to hang out a lot. And I really, at a certain point, I had to fall back off of hanging out with him because he was a cool dude and he was a good person and I liked him. But every time we went out, we would get into these conversations talking about trial and tribulation talk. It was black people this and woe is me that. And we got to fix this and we got to do better with that. Hey, look, I don't mind getting on my soapbox and doing trial and tribulations talk as much as the next person. But at a certain point, I'm trying to turn that stuff off. Like I'm in here, I'm having a couple drinks, I'm trying to look at some women, I'm trying to talk to some women, and you killing my vibe with all of this negativity. So, when we at the crib or we at the basketball court or we at the barbershop, yeah, let's get into it. But right here, right now, this serves as my balance. This is my balance. In this moment right here is my balance to offset all of that. And you're bringing my vibe down by putting me on that all the time. And anybody who likes and to anyone who critiques Tyler Perry, I don't think it's unreasonable to approach it from that particular perspective. Like, he's a talented guy, from what I'm told. Like, he should represent a rich tapestry of his art the way I believe the hip hop music industry should represent a rich tapestry of hip hop music. But time and time again, the music industry fails to do that. And in my opinion, Tyler Perry, more often than not, fails to do that. And, the last thing that I'll say, I saw an ad. I think I was watching something. I forgot what I was watching. I think I was watching a rerun of Everybody Hates Chris or something like this. I was watching a rerun of an old show, and there was an ad that came on for a new TV show on BET. And, the name of the show is Divorced Sisters. And guess who's the creator of the show?
Of course.
And it's a spinoff of a show. There's a show on BET, I think, that's called Sisters already. And so this is a spinoff of that, but it's Divorced Sisters. So now it's sisters in the divorced world.
Because sisters get divorced, so you have to articulate that.
Right. So the synopsis is Divorced Sisters is an upcoming American comedy drama television series created and produced by Tyler Perry and starring LaToya Luckett. Shouts out to LaToya Luckett. It's a spinoff of BET comedy drama Sisters and premieres on BET on June 10th. And let's see. It follows five close friends, Rashida, Geneva, Naomi, Tiffany, and Bridget, as they navigate life, love, and the challenges that come with divorce, marriage, and dating.
Of course.
So everywhere you look with this dude, it just seems like he propagates traumatainment more than anything else
towards women.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that that's his specialty, and it is. He's like old school Super Nintendo when you were playing like Super Contra or something, and the game is so hard. You basically need the infinite lives and infinite bullets cheat code to beat the game. So you put in the cheat code on the start menu, and then you got infinite lives and infinite bullets. Tyler Perry is the Super Contra cheat code for black traumatainment. It's just infinite spamming of some aspect of black trauma. Yeah, it's divorce, abuse, neglect, all of that. And it's just like, all right, bro, you killing my vibe at this point. Like, offset it with some balance, and I don't think that that's an unreasonable take.
Yeah, but here I am, and here you are, tearing down a black man that's out here making money, employing other black people. All right, speaking on things that happen in our community to give us power and to make us stronger by always talking about the negative. As you mentioned, man, there's somebody that while you're at work, they're always complaining. You're in the break room, they're always complaining. Yeah, y'all got to do this job. But they're always complaining. They always got an excuse. They always this, always that, always that. That person doesn't move. They don't get anything done. In life, when you're always talking about the trauma, as you mentioned, hey, man, there's a time and a place for that. Yes. On the conscious approach, people say we always talking negative and stuff like that. We bring up the negative stuff to balance it out with a different mindset. We're not on here always complaining. We're bringing stuff up to shine light on things on the other side. Like, hey, we're genuinely doing that. I brought up Tyler Perry. We're bringing up Tyler Perry, not to simply dunk on him, but to show people that people like Tyler Perry, all right, are a wolf in sheep's clothing, in my opinion. People like him don't get on. People like Lee Daniels don't get on unless they are doing the bidding of making sure people stay in a certain vibrational set. I told you, these Tyler Perry movies are no different than slave movies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They are constructed to keep the people in a certain vibrational set. No Negroes out of space yet from Tyler Perry. This guy is a funny dude. Tyler Perry's a funny human being. Those Medea plays and stuff, he had me rolling when the VHSs and stuff, we were sitting there watching it when the thing first came. This is a funny man. Every once in a while, whenever I'm glancing at his content, there's a one-liner here or something there, and it's like, yeah, that's a funny dude. So he has a level of talent to himself, but he is using that, in my opinion, not to show us a way out. He's showing he's highly articulating trauma. Taraji P. Henson said nothing different than he's making content that authentically represents our community. She said that in a roundabout way, that he's making content that authentically represents black women.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. And so I wonder what that Girlfriend's Divorced show is going to be about. I wonder how that's going to show black men. And I'm the one tearing black men down. In all of his movies, he got a black man that's abusive, X, Y, and to the Z. And of course, some other black man with a bad hairpiece is going to come save the day. All right. But he's still showing us in a crazy light. How about a show, Tyler Perry, that shows men, black men, being builders of our community?
Well, he did. But even when he does that, it's still going to be stoked in trauma.
That's what I'm saying. Don't do that.
He can't help himself, because
I know you can't.
Even the movie with Idris, it shows a strong black man who's trying to be a positive role model for his kids, but the context is dysfunctional co-parenting, baby mama drama, and fighting and violence and depression. So even when he's doing that, it's still the same song and dance.
Of course. Tap dance. So yeah, man. Tyler Perry, give me Negroes out of space. You know what I'm saying? Give me something, bro. You got all of this stuff going on for yourself, but of course he's not going to do that. He's going to keep making these things targeting black women and they're going to keep watching this stuff, and they're still going to think there's a boogeyman on every corner because he's black. He's a black man, and these men ain't nothing, and that he plays right into all of that. You know what I'm saying? And that a good man ain't always a Tyler Perry good man. Last thing I'll say. Because those Tyler Perry good men are some ducks. Those are some ducks. Ain't nobody walking around like that. You know what I'm saying? Good men, there's a ton of good men. And we don't walk around like that. We don't act like that. We're regular. But all the regular guys in his stuff are the abusive arseholes. But then there's always some white knight in shining armor coming through, you know what I'm saying? Super simping hard. I'm over this guy. So, Hey guys, you know what I'm saying? Throw something at me and throw tomatoes at me in the comment section, man. I just don't get it, or I'm a hater and I'm tearing down a black man because I ain't got what he got. Man,
blah,
please.
blah. Yeah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
man,
blah,
please.
blah.
You could take that because I'm not surprised. Here you go. I'm not surprised you thinking like that because you watch his movies. Get over it. Get out of that vibration and stop watching his TV shows too. Because that show, The Oval, I think that shows the Oval or whatever, and it's about black people in the White House. Ain't nothing but drama and mess there. It's messy TV. Get over it, man. I'm over this clown. Taraji, you've been on my short list anyway. You can kick rocks with him.
That is his show. Yeah, The Oval. That is his show.
It's a messy ass show. It's black people in the White House. It's messy as hell. My old lady was sitting there watching it. My old lady was watching it. I'm like, what the hell is this? Tyler Perry? This is crap. Man, get out of here, man. He got black people. He got black people in the White House, and you saying he only did you watch it? It's trash. Come on, man. Give us some Negroes out of space that's balling hard and exploring other worlds.
I agree.
Until then, bro, kick rocks, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I think to buy into the idea that is, I do believe that I don't know how, I wouldn't say most, but I do believe a lot of people who are fans of his work, they buy into the idea that is an authentic representation
of the black community.
Of the black struggle. Right. Yeah. But the thing about it is, like, black people at this point, man, it's 2025. Not only are all of us not deeply entrenched in our traumas, not only is that not the case, but it's also the case that many of us are moving beyond that and just living in a higher vibrational plane where we're not beholden to those traumas. But man, I feel like if you keep watching that, it gives you sort of a subconscious excuse to languish in the trauma and think that you can't overcome it, or that it is a part of who you are and you can't do nothing about it.
Right.
But yeah, I don't really buy it. But again, my central point, my central issue with him is there's just no balance to what he does. And I always will champion balance. Even somebody who doesn't do black traumatainment, but their movies or their stuff is always the same, I call that out too. Yeah. I'm always going to call out a lack of balance. I'm always noticing of imbalance. And so he's imbalanced with the representation of his art and his stuff. And yeah, I just think it's just, it's 50 Cent saying power authentically represents black and Latino communities. Mm-hmm. And, and her saying that is a roundabout way of saying Tyler Perry's work authentically represents the black community, specifically black women. So
yeah. Hey, Tyler Perry fans, come at me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Throw those tomatoes. I'm right here.
They're going to throw them. They're going to throw them. I can't stomach that stuff, man. I that's why I said I'm not going to watch it. So it is what it is. That's why I didn't want to comment on the movie itself because I haven't seen it and I never will, but it's very consistent with his body of work. So I feel like the critique is fine because it's very consistent with what he's been doing his entire career.
Exactly, bro. You seen one, you seen them all, bro. Yeah. Seriously.